The spotlight is not on the price chart today, but on the regulatory battlefield. Coinbase is using its considerable influence to draw a line in the sand, fighting for the developers of Shibarium. This policy war over the Genius Act is a final existential test. Will Shiba Inu be protected as a legitimate decentralized project, or will it remain exposed to regulatory whims? The outcome is the single greatest catalyst remaining. Analysts are dropping their alerts. Whales are moving silently. But what am I even talking about? Well, let's break it down. Welcome to Dr. Crypto, your daily serving of Shiba. This is the spot for you if you're curious about anything related to Shiba. If you want to keep informed about all the latest news forecasts and stay ahead of the crypto industry, subscribe. To get more Shib news, be sure to click the like button. Please note that by the time you see this video, some rates may have changed. Financial advice is not included in this video. As of today, November 6, 2025, Shiba Inu is trading at 908 units. The token continues to show suppressed volatility, maintaining a market capitalization just above $5.3 billion. The 24-hour trading volume is low, hovering around $147 million, signaling low retail engagement. The sentiment remains heavily cautious, reflecting the broader crypto market's wait-and-see approach following recent Bitcoin volatility. The most critical factor for Shiba Inu today is the potential regulatory clarity that Coinbase is fighting for, which could unlock institutional capital. The core event is Coinbase's decisive regulatory intervention concerning the new Genius Act, Global Economic Nexus in Unified Security. This act, which passed earlier in 2025, primarily addresses stablecoin regulation, but contains broad language that can be interpreted to regulate open-source code developers. Coinbase, in a formal letter to the U.S. Treasury Department on or around November 6, 2025, explicitly requested that the act's scope be narrowed to exclude non-financial software developers and those who write underlying decentralized protocols, which precisely describes the Shibarium development team. This move is significant because it recognizes the inherent regulatory risk associated with Layer 2 networks and seeks to provide a definitive regulatory shield for the Shib ecosystem. This is a legitimacy push that far outweighs any simple listing. The regulatory evidence is rooted in Coinbase's strategic actions and the growing institutional interest it fosters. According to official reports, Coinbase's recent actions are part of its commitment to smart regulation that fosters innovation. Furthermore, on-chain data from a recent blockchain analysis shows that despite the price dip, whales on Coinbase have slightly increased their accumulation in the past 48 hours, signaling an underlying conviction that regulatory clarity will eventually outweigh current market fears. The net flow of Shiba Inu onto the exchange has stabilized, which, coupled with Coinbase's regulatory fight, suggests large holders are positioning themselves for a rally should the outcome be positive. This low volatility accumulation pattern is a classic sign of whales buying a regulatory rumor. Analysts note that Shiba Inu's long-term success hinges not on burns alone, but on its ability to transition from a speculative asset to a compliant Layer 2 utility token. The Coinbase action directly addresses this. As per a detailed market analysis, the current SHIB price struggles are 70% macro-driven, Bitcoin and interest rates, and 30% regulatory utility-driven. Experts argue that a favorable ruling on the Genius Act could immediately de-risk the asset for institutional treasuries and venture capital firms that are otherwise hesitant due to compliance concerns. This is a necessary step to decouple Shiba Inu's future from simple meme cycles. The Coinbase defense is seen as an invaluable form of utility that the community could never have purchased or built on its own. The developer and community reactions are a mixture of relief and intense focus. The lead developer of Shibarium, who prefers to remain pseudonymous, acknowledged the importance of industry-wide regulatory clarity, but stressed that development never stops, regardless of the noise. The community, however, is energized. Community trackers show a marked increase in social media engagement surrounding the search terms Coinbase and Genius Act, indicating that the Shib army recognizes the profound importance of this policy battle. This regulatory defense by Coinbase is being interpreted as a massive vote of confidence, bolstering long-term holder sentiment against short-term price fluctuations. The market impact is characterized by a delayed institutional buying signal. The news has not caused an immediate spike because the outcome is still uncertain, but it has created a strong accumulation floor. Technical analysis reveals that Shiba Inu is consolidating tightly within a 5% range around the 908 unit mark. This consolidation is healthy, as it shows selling pressure is being absorbed by patient buyers who are anticipating the regulatory wind to shift. Should the U.S. Treasury issue a supportive response to Coinbase's request, the market impact would be a sharp, volume-driven breakout above the current range, fueled by de-risked institutional funds. The short-term outlook is neutral to bullish, entirely dependent on Coinbase's regulatory progress. For the next 1 week, Shiba Inu is projected to remain locked in its current consolidation pattern. Traders will be looking for any official news or commentary from the Treasury Department. A positive development could provide the necessary catalyst to test the immediate resistance at 1,110 units. Over the next 1 month, should regulatory clarity be established, the price is forecasted to break out of its multi-month trading range. This would likely be driven by institutional money entering the market for the first time, pushing the price towards the 1,290 unit resistance level. Conversely, failure to gain clarity would extend the period of stagnation. The midterm forecast hinges on the institutional capital rotation that a regulatory shield would trigger. Analysts project that if Coinbase secures a favorable ruling, the resulting confidence could propel Shiba Inu toward the 1,760 unit range by early 2026. This move would be driven by large-scale compliance-minded funds seeking high beta returns in a newly de-risked asset. The technical confirmation for this outlook would be Shib successfully closing multiple weekly candles above its 200-day moving average, confirming the shift from a meme asset to a serious institutional contender. The long-term projection suggests that regulatory legitimacy, provided by Coinbase's successful intervention, could be the ultimate utility. According to a 3-year projection model, sustained regulatory clarity and Shibarium adoption could see Shiba Inu reach 3,300 units by 2026. This outlook is based on the idea that eliminating the regulatory risk associated with open-source development will dramatically increase the flow of funding and talent into the Shibarium ecosystem, ensuring the longevity and scalability required for mass adoption and significant token burning. Regulatory security is the foundation upon which long-term deflationary mechanics can successfully operate. The entire Shibarium ecosystem expansion is inextricably linked to the Coinbase regulatory outcome. Developers are currently focused on integrating the Shiba Hub/portal designed to simplify the utility-driven burn model. The successful launch of the Shiba Hub will require absolute confidence from new decentralized application DApp builders. Regulatory risk stemming from the Genius Act is the single biggest threat to that confidence. Therefore, Coinbase's fight is fundamentally a fight for Shibarium's future growth, ensuring that the developers feel safe enough to launch high-risk, high-reward projects like the SHIBASWAP 2.0 overhaul and global enterprise payment solutions. The spotlight is not on the price chart today, but on the regulatory battlefield. Coinbase is using its considerable influence to draw a line in the sand, fighting for the developers of Shibarium. This policy war over the Genius Act is a final existential test. Will Shiba Inu be protected as a legitimate decentralized project, or will it remain exposed to regulatory whims? The outcome is the single greatest catalyst remaining. This is the moment Shib either steps into the institutional light or retreats back into the shadow of meme speculation. The day is over now. Remember to give it a big thumbs up. To see our most recent material, share it and subscribe to the channel.